Hey guys. So I hope since we've last seen each other, you have found a way to make the best of what we got going on here. Um, I'm going to keep pitching that, yeah, because that's literally what I think about all of this right now. So spring break is still just a chugging along for me. Um, I tried a seafood boil. It came out amazing for a first time. It was pretty good. So I've been pushing myself when it comes to food. I've been pushing myself when it comes to just my interests, music, writing more. Um, I've been really trying to sit down and write a poem from beginning to end. Like, you don't understand how taxing that is. Hopefully, by the end of this spring break, this extended spring break, they keep pushing it back and back and back and back. But hopefully, by the end of this, I can like sit down and be like, this is what I want to write about. Give me 20 minutes and churn it out. I used to be that good, so we're going to get back to that. Um, what have I been up to? So I have been, of course, teaching myself some more editing. I have been connecting more with some old friends. My school, my old college, actually did a virtual reunion. It seems like so that was very fun. Like it was interesting to see that. I've been enjoying the time to myself, getting some things together, taking care of some important stuff, some important in-house stuff, just some important me stuff. And a conversation with a friend kind of sparked this video. Um, this video today is just about the mental health checks that I do with myself just to make sure that I am good. In turbulent times like this, we don't really know what's what, right? And so for me, it was just a sudden change of life. I don't do sudden change well. I don't do a lot of things that kind of touches. It's a little PTSD-ish, right? I don't do the sudden juke. And so as of late, and after the conversation I had with my friend, I found myself kind of asking those questions just to double check and make sure I'm good. So I wanted to share them with y'all. So here we go, guys. And let me give the caveat. I ain't a mental health professional at all, right? Like I'm just some girl who kind of stumbled upon mental health topic when I was like 16, 17. It really interests me. Then just going through my family history has interested me. And then in the self-actualization that I have been going through for myself, yeah, it's a thing. And so anything that I say, I honest to God just think that these are my tips, my tricks. These are the things that I've done for myself. It is not a prescription to anyone. So for me, these are like the questions that I ask myself when life, I don't want to say gets away from us, but when life takes a turn that you can't do anything about it, it's like the pressure points of life, right? Like either you are going to turn into a diamond or you're going to crumble under the weight of it all. I hate those moments. I call those sudden change moments. I'm just not a fan of them. If you know me personally, you know I hate change. I like slow, gradual. We built up to this change. Um, I don't like the rug to be pulled from up under my feet. Now I can handle it. I can deal with it, but I don't like it. Um, it's a cycle that I have to go through, right? Like I have to get comfortable again. I have to readjust. Like it's my reset cycle. I had to learn how to make that reset cycle faster if I wanted to be successful in life. Because like nothing that has been or is successful is stagnant. There's constant change. You gotta be able to embrace and be good with the change that's coming. So I had to figure out what the freak is going on with me when it comes to just sudden and uncomfortable moments in life. So I had to start sitting down and picking myself apart. Um, Now I feel like when change comes my way, I'm more equipped to get the shit done. Like, I've always been like that, but now I don't just like burn a whole bunch of bridges and like the land around me in order to make that work, right? Like now I'm more so like, all right, yo, this is how this needs to be. Let's just get it done. And it wasn't until I sat down and dissected myself a little bit. So let's just jump into it. Question number 1. I ask myself, what's happening versus what am I perceive happening? And this is a question that kind of slows everything down for me, right? It kind of allows me to see the facts from the feelings of the situation. It allows me to really sit down and go, okay, Regina, here's what you are being given. Here's what you are trying to take away from it. Now what you going to do about it? And that third part is kind of like the summation, right? It's kind of like for me, the way my brain breaks it down, it is a math equation with words and feelings and shit. So like I write down the two columns, I add them together. You can't just leave it empty. Like you got to put the sum in there. And so what is the sum worth of all of this? It allows me to really, really see situations for what they are and like how they are and like what makes them, right? Like the components and like the pieces and like the nooks and crannies of a situation. So for me, I gotta slow it down and make sure I'm gut checking myself. Question number 2 I ask myself is, why is this uncomfortable for me? And I think sometimes as we heal from trauma, or heck, as we just go along with just life and start piling on the little small grains of sand that fills up that bottle that we call life, right? It's not until it gets to the neck that we like, wait a minute, how did we get here? I think not figuring out what makes you comfortable and what makes you uncomfortable kind of puts you in that space. I had to figure out why I was uncomfortable when things just changed like that. Like I had to figure out what was it about that. And honestly, most of the times it's the fear of uncertainty, the lack of control that I have. And you know, those are deep-seated issues that I need to deal with. But again, and it wasn't until I sat down and asked myself, what is it about that snap that made you uncomfortable? Not the big snap. The big snap still makes me cry. I actually watched Endgame the other day and was like crying and was like, T'Challa, he said, cap on. So yeah, what is it about that snap that makes me like just not go? What makes me cringe about it? What makes it uncomfortable for me? Now I know. Number 3, I always ask myself when sudden change comes, where can I improve from this situation? And that's a question that I think, again, it's not for everybody. It's definitely just how the gears in my brain work. I need to know what's next. Where do we go from here? Where do I go from here? I need to have an answer to that question. I don't know. Maybe I need some therapy in order to figure that out. But I really need to know, like, why was this moment placed in my world? Or why did I stumble upon it? What did I miss to get me here? Like, again, you are the sum of the actions that you made prior to this moment. So what made this moment happen? And what could I control in those moments up to this one? This question is also important because it allows me to stay present. It affords me the ability to be present in what's actually going on, right? I'm not just sitting around letting things happen to me. I'm an active participant in my life. And this puts it out there. It also just doesn't put me in this high horse or this like fantastical world when it comes to me in my life. I'm not always going to be the damsel to be saved in my life. I'm not always going to be the villain. I'm not always going to be a victim. I'm also not even going to always be the protag of the story sometimes. Sometimes somebody else's story happens in your life for you to observe so that story doesn't happen later in your life. And I'm getting that. So I have to ask myself, where can I improve in situations so I can improve in the situations that come thereafter? I think that makes sense. Like, that's not just too much to ask for. Jeez. Number 4, do I owe myself atonement for anything surrounding this situation or any other situation that I may be struggling with moving past? 2 things happen when I ask myself this question. One, it assumes that there is space for atonement, right? For myself, like, how can you make atonement to yourself? You have to find the way to forgive yourself when things don't go the way that you originally planned. There's something that lingers beyond when you're like, dang, I should have, I could have, all the da-da-da-da-da. That's what I'm talking about when I say that you need to make atonement and forgive yourself for those moments, for those thoughts. The second thing is it keeps that autonomy of the situation in your wheelhouse too, right? Like, you're not just sitting there saying that, oh, I can't control this because of this and that and these other players. What you can have the ultimate control, which is most freeing, is over your actions in that situation. For example, and I only use relationships because I think people always kind of gravitate to romantic relationships when they think about stuff like this. But don't beat yourself up because your ex cheated on you, right? Make atonement to yourself by not allowing the next person to cheat on you. For you being like, hey, that's a deal breaker for me. It makes me feel like worse, or I don't like it, or hey, if you want to go out there and sleep with someone else, let's have a conversation beforehand, keep me in the loop, whatever. That's your atonement, the actions that you make going forward so this shit don't happen to you again. But then you have control over all of that. I know what happened to me before, but I'm not gonna let it happen to me moving forward, and I'm going to be a better me to me because of it. And that's all I look for. Again, this is just my shit. These are just the things that make me tick. If you think it sounds good, you can try it. But not because I told you to, because you want to. Jesus. Because I don't want to bog you guys down with anything right now. I want to be light and airy and fun and beautiful and fed. Oh my God. I'm about to go finish off with seafood. Number 5, your reaction worth your end goal? Or is the change worth or pushing you towards your end goal? This question kind of plays into number 2, where there's some like root issues in me that I might have to dig down and deep into to make sure that I'm not just reacting based off of old tools in my wheelhouse and not using the new tools that push me in the right direction. The self-actualization for me has been about making sure that I am continuously growing. I don't think that there's an end goal, but I do think that there is a sense of fulfillment that I can get from it. Sometimes when I overreact because I'm uncomfortable, or I just don't want to be bothered, or I just don't understand why the sudden snap has come along, I get in my own way of my end goal. Sometimes you just got to roll with the motion of the boat so you can safely get to the shore. Do you want to go back and forth so turbulently? Nobody does. But do you have to? Is the real question, right? Like, are you rocking back and forth because you're the one jumping up and down in the boat? If you are, sit down, right? That's not taking you directly to your end goal. It might prevent you. That's why I started to ask myself these questions. Because I need to know and make sure that I'm not standing in my own way anymore. That's it, guys. Short, quick, sweet. Make sure you take care of yourself out there. Please, please, please take care of yourself. As always, I leave you guys with a lot of light. Cause we've had some beautiful days. It's been beautiful. Although we in the house or on the porch, but it's been beautiful. And again, there's light at the end of this tunnel. I leave you with a lot of life. Cause we got so much more to live. So let's just push through. Let's just make it through. And lastly, and most importantly, and as always, because you guys seem to give it to me, I leave you with a lot of love. Because the love that you give to me, I want to continue to give to you 10 times over.